Welcome to this Moneycontrol live stream. I'm Nandita, Khemka. Well, it's Diwali time, time to reflect upon how the year gone by has turned out for the markets. We talk about a lot of stock recommendations and stock picks that are expected to do well in the new Samvat. We'll be talking about the outlook for the market in the new Samvat, and also we'll be talking about some of the gems or portfolio gems that has been identified by our Moneycontrol Pro research team to talk about the markets and of course the rationale behind picking stocks in the new Samvat. I'm joined by Madhuchanda of Moneycontrol Pro, and we will be talking about some of the portfolio gems that we had picked last year as well, and how the year gone by has turned out for the entire portfolio. Great to have you on the show, Madhu. First of all, tell us, Samvat 2079 has been a very topsy-turvy year for the markets, but one where we had hit levels of 20,000, which we of course have never really seen before. But going into Samvat 2080, do you think markets will be as volatile as they were this year?
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, our take on the market is that markets are going to have this kind of volatility. As we are all aware, the global scenario is still pretty tentative. As long as rates remain elevated, the risk of a looming recession is there. That's not really out of the window. On the top of that, there is military conflict now in multiple places. Previously, it was just Ukraine, Russia, which the market had beyond a point kind of digested. So, well, that is definitely something to take note of. And the last but not the least is two large countries are going in for election next year. So, yeah, there will be the highs and there will be the lows, but yeah, volatility is the
name of the game.
Name of the game, even in the coming year.
That's true. One trend that I want to point out is the fact that mid-caps have clearly outperformed. Mid-cap index, I think, in the last Samvat gained somewhere around 36% or thereabouts, vis-a-vis 9% kind of gains on the Nifty. Do you think this trend will continue in the coming year?
Well, of course, this is a phenomenon which is kind of striking in the last year, that mid cap and the small cap indices have done way better than the large cap. But having said that, it is not right to paint them under the broad brush of mid cap. So yeah, there are pockets in the mid and small cap space which are looking frothy, but there are also certain stocks where there is deep value. So, for instance, we in MC Pro research, we don't take a mid cap, small cap kind of an approach.
Right.
We look at the merit of each and every stock, and if the stock is going to offer value, definitely it's a stock worthy of investment. But having said that, the phenomenon which has resulted in this kind of so-called apparent overvaluation is also the retail participation and the kind of liquidity which is chasing that part of the market, where the FII interest is not so high.
Yeah.
Because we have seen a lot of selling by FIIs, but we have not seen that kind of an impact on the mid and small cap, because they're not exposed to that color of money.
Yeah.
So yeah, and domestic interest in Indian markets is a phenomenon which is here to stay. So you have to be choosy. Don't think that any party lasts forever.
That's true.
And you should do your research and pick up the kind of stocks which are offering value, be it in the large cap or in the mid cap space.
Right. Of course, at Moneycontrol Pro, you guys have also, shortlisted 8 gems for the portfolio. We'll be talking about that and the methodology that you guys have followed while picking, and of course, it's been hours of brainstorming, and after a lot of hard work, you've come up with those stock picks. We'll be talking about that. But one trend I want to talk to you about is the phenomenon of underperformance by private sector banks. Right? It's always been the private banks that have outperformed the PSUs, which have largely been scored, so to say, by the market. But this time around, it's been different. We've seen private banks underperform, and PSUs, on the other hand, have done phenomenally well. Any kind of a reversal in the coming year? Do you expect that to happen?
See, as far as financials are concerned, especially large banks, one got to be very positive about them from a long-term perspective. We have to understand that this is a kind of a 3 trillion economy which is going to go to 5 trillion and eventually 10 trillion and more. And we have this number of banks in India. You're not going to get, addition of 4 or 5 banks every year. We have handful of banks and they are going to lead the show. So, banking as a sector is going to do well. It will map the growth of the Indian economy. So, from the long term perspective, we are very positive on financials as a space.
Okay.
But having said that, coming to your specific question on the underperformance, see, last 2 years have been kind of Goldilocks phase of Indian banking, where we have seen record expansion of net interest margin, because most of the books are linked to the external benchmark, and they have got repriced. Deposits didn't get repriced so fast.
That's
so
happening now, which is why
so there was an
margins.
expansion, record expansion of interest margin, and we've seen record low credit cost.
Yeah.
So that was like an awesome combination, which is rarely seen, and that is what has played out even in the PSU space, which led to the re-rating of the PSUs. But in the last couple of months, you have seen a softness overall, and over a period of time, the private banks have underperformed because maybe there was a little bit of a churn within also the portfolio in favor of something which was undervalued.
Yeah.
But going forward, I think there is no denying that this top 4 or 5 banks, they are going to have a disproportionately large market share, and they are using this opportunity, when they are seeing record interest margin, their credit costs are at all-time low. They are using this opportunity to spend on technology, to spend on network, so that they are in a better position to garner market share. Right. And it is in tough times that these banks will stand out. So, when the going is soft, this is the ideal time to quietly get into some of these high quality banks.
All right, that's about the banking space. But let me also talk about, some of the Navratnas that you chose last year. You had names like CET, you had names like Map My India, which is like a much talked about stock now. Last year, of course, there wasn't much interest around this stock, but this year, of course, it has been in high demand. But, take us through how last year's portfolio has really performed, for you guys. 9 Navratnas you guys chose. CET was one of them. You had Map My India, you had Indigo as well, which saw a good run up, given the kind of travel demand that we have seen. But how has it performed, and do you think these still qualify as portfolio gems?
Absolutely. So, our last year's portfolio, which was our Diwali portfolio, we had picked up 9 stocks, and they have till date, last year's portfolio was released on 17th October 2022. Till date, that portfolio has generated a return of close to 29%, as against Nifty of 12% and Nifty 500 of 15%. So there's a huge outperformance out there. And some of the stocks that you mentioned, like Map My India, CET, Indigo, Bharat Electronics, they have been kind of the stars.
Defense has, of course, run up quite a bit.
Defense has run up, and we were one of the, the early people to detect the defense upside right at the time, beginning of the Ukraine conflict. And there has been no looking back. But yeah, in terms of what went right, we were very careful in not choosing globally exposed names. We were very careful not choosing technology service companies, for instance. In fact, last year also in a similar show, I was asked, are you not including technology, because the world is guided by technology? So we said, yes, we have technology, but in a different form, and that different form was Map My India. And in fact, to be honest with you, of all the new tech businesses that got listed in the last few years, this was our highest conviction call, Map My India. Because it is into mapping, it is into geospatial, it is catering to the auto, consumer tech companies, to the government. So it has a unique business moat. And even now, if you go to their app Maple, in fact, it is no less than the Google Maps. In fact, you should start using it. So yeah, but the stock has run up. The stock has run up very handsomely in the past year. Having said that, the long-term business fundamentals are still intact, but you should look for some better opportunity to get into the stock. But having said that, to answer your question, if all these 9 stocks are excellent for portfolio, yes, absolutely. They are all very high quality, good portfolio stocks, and they are good hold any day for an investor.
So let's talk about this time. You guys have chosen or shortlisted 8 sparkling gems for the portfolio. Of course, we cannot reveal the names because it's behind paywall. Of course, viewers will have to subscribe to Moneycontrol Pro to exactly know what the names are. But tell us, what is the methodology, or what makes the cut when you decide these names for Samvat? What is it that you look at when you select these stocks?
See, any portfolio selection, as you know, is a combination of tops down and bottoms up. So definitely there is a tops down approach. We definitely like the themes which will take India to the next level.
Right.
You know, things like India is a secular growth story. We are a firm believer of the long-term growth potential of this market. So one being a domestic oriented economy with a large consumption play. The second is the new manufacturing opportunity which is coming because of China plus one strategy. That is also that is also a very important theme to ride on. The third is the shift in the energy mix to renewable energy, and these are some of the secular themes on which this particular portfolio is based. So we have about 4 stocks which are somewhat linked to consumption.
So that's a hint for our viewers. But of
course, we have a hotel play. We have other consumption plays. We have an insurance play. So yeah, we have about 50% of the stocks comes from the consumption theme, because in a country like ours, not only the large size of the population, but the large size of consuming population. Every year, if 1 or 2% of Indian population gets into the consumption bracket, the meaningful consumption bracket, that itself is a huge market. And that is what the world is targeting as far as their approach towards India is concerned. So consumption will continue to remain a secular theme. People may complain about the valuation, but you have to live with it.
Right, so quite a few hints here coming from you as to which sectors those stocks really belong to. So again, if you want to know exactly which stocks feature on that list of 8 sparkling gems for your portfolio, do subscribe to Moneycontrol Pro, and you will get to know the rationale, the names of the stocks, the rationale, and and the kind of growth trajectory they are on going forward. But lastly, Madhu, going into the new Samvat, what are the kind of strategies one should adopt in a volatile market? What should one keep in mind while investing in the new Samvat?
See, it is nothing new. It is the same for every Samvat, so to speak. Markets in a globalized world like now is never going to be a one-way street. But that is the beauty of the market. That is what makes this market a very unique place, and well-researched people will always generate that kind of an alpha in this market. So you need to be aware of the fact that the market will give you the levels that you are aspiring to get into.
So just come in here once. Do you think 25,000 is a lofty expectation for the market next year, given the fact that of course it's an election year, and if
see, I mean, I do not want to pinpoint a particular level of the market. 25,000 is a 30% kind of a return point to point from this level. But having said that, our belief is, and this is very important for all investors to remember, that India is a secular growth market for the next 3 to 5 years at least. Not only the factors that we have discussed, but there's going to be a huge liquidity. We have already seen the participation of domestic liquidity, what it can do to the market, and this liquidity participation is only going to increase in the coming years.
Right.
So with that backdrop, whenever the market corrects, because mostly market corrects because of global factors, even if it is for some election worries or anything of that sort, India is a buy on decline market. It is not a sell on rally market at all.
All right, I think with that we have come to the end of this particular show. But I want to thank you for taking our time and joining in, and of course sharing the rationale and thought process behind selecting these stocks. But for our viewers, once again, if you want to know which stocks we have selected, as 8 sparkling gems for your portfolio, do grab your subscription of Moneycontrol Pro and find out what exactly prompted the Moneycontrol Pro research team to come up with those 8 sparkling gems. With that, Madhu, thanks a lot for joining in. Wishing you a very happy Diwali, and to our viewers as well.
And yeah, I also want to take the opportunity to wish all our viewers a very happy Diwali and a very rewarding year of investment.
Well, that's what we are hoping for. Important, crucial Samvat, crucial year that we are stepping into, given the fact that we have elections in 2 of the largest nations of the world. With that, it's a wrap from this side. Thanks a lot for tuning in. Stay tuned to Moneycontrol for all your other news and updates.